Oof. Well, and I guess I should probably call this meeting to order at 5:34.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. That's right. Do you know everybody here, Andrew? Have you
Yeah.
met Missy and have you met Tabitha Harkin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She was
Okay.
at the Sutton Park when we did that.
Oh, yes, she was. Yes. All right. Awesome. All right. So so I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:34. I would like to see if anybody, first thing we need to do is approve the minutes.
I'll move approval of the minutes.
Second. Oh, I can't do that.
A second.
Okay. And is there any discussion or changes to the minutes as they were printed?
Not that I saw.
Okay, thank you. I looked at this and I don't have anything written down for communications. I don't think I've been doing that correctly. I mean, I think if I get maybe written in communications or emails, but I haven't gotten a lot of those. I don't know if I need to share. I don't have to share conversations, right?
Well, there is a communication. There was an article in the day to which a letter to the editor to which you answered on behalf of the beautification committee.
Yeah, but you know what? That was interesting because both you and Leanne really thought it was focused on our committee. I think it was focused on the town and this gentleman's lack of his displeasure with the town and the choices they're making. That was how I read it.
Oh, good.
Now, Leanne,
He said beautification committee, though.
Yeah.
he mentioned that we had crashed and burned, right?
No, he
But
threw us under the bus,
But it was in the context of
the town.
being critical of the town.
Right.
True. Yeah.
So I don't have any idea where he thought we had how we had crashed and burned. I did not write a letter to the editor. I wrote a response to his accusation that the beautification committee had crashed and burned. And I don't know, maybe who read that? I know Aline did.
Oh.
Yes.
It was great.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. Yep.
But-
That was a good response.
Yeah, but it also really, Andrew, made me think, okay, and I've been thinking this because we've got a number of things in the works. And once things occur, they will need to be publicized because maybe people aren't aware, you know?
And that come very quickly with people that may not be involved and may be frustrated. It could be a totally different subject, but like you said, that just came out somewhere in his thoughts. But people are volunteering and trying the best that we can. So in that respect, that was my little thing when I emailed you all about maybe marking the territory. I don't know how we could do that, but that just to show that the projects are ongoing. When a school gets built, people see it. But when projects are worked on, people don't see them. And people that may not be involved because of whatever, they don't have the time or they don't, something may set them off. So we may need to do more PR on that, but.
Right. Well, I think a number of months ago, we had talked about making signs because Rachel had made a sign for the bulbs that were planted over near Ring Drive. And I had those and I haven't followed up with trying to, have them made. But that is something I think that would be a good idea. And then anytime we do something, we can put a sign. I had used Rachel's sign when we cleared out the area at the top of Fort Hill, but it wasn't really big enough. If you flew by, you wouldn't really, if you were stopped there and you were the first car in line, you could read it. But if you were driving by, we realized we needed something bigger, but then we also might need something smaller, like that we could have plopped into Sutton Park planting. But I will, I just think the one thing that I thought, since we never do anything all by ourselves, Sutton Park was in conjunction with planning, Annex was in conjunction with Parks and Rec and Public Works. The top of Fort Hill was in conjunction with the Highway Department. I thought that it would be good to acknowledge that because it's not just us. We might be organizing it, but it's not just us. So I don't know how to acknowledge that. I mentioned that to Rachel, and she believes that if someone's being paid and they're doing their job and part of their job is to work with the beautification committee, they don't need to be acknowledged.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I disagree. I think the people we've worked with have gone above and beyond, and have really bent over backwards. And that's how I feel. Anyways, and I want to acknowledge the people that we're working with at the town. Anyways, so I don't know how to make the signs. So maybe we'll need a little input, and it would be nice when we get together so we can maybe we could sketch something out.
And just commenting briefly on that, I think that, as people are driving through the town and they see, even if there's small changes, for example, the Pequannock Road, Long Hill corner where Avery Memorial is, people may not see, for example, the bushes that are planted, but they might say, oh, that does look a little cleaner than it did before. So they know there are committees and people working on it, and that ears, along with very nice staff members, are trying to make the town better. And this is not one or two people's town, it's everybody's town.
Right. Right.
Groton Long Point, Groton City, Pequannock Bridge, Long Hill. We're a business and residential group of taxpayers that I believe if you live here, you want to make it better. And that's what everybody's trying to do.
Yeah.
So if you can, which we've been doing, and Cindy, you've been great at leading this kind of, and all the members try to focus on the positivity of it. I think it's contagious and I think it will improve. I mean, there were so many people driving around today just because of the weather.
Yeah.
And when they see more flowers and more projects, it's going to only hopefully motivate them.
Yeah. I was at the annex today and we unearthed a whole bunch of bulbs, and man, they are going crazy. Do you go in that entrance ever, Tabitha? Yeah, I mean, there's like daffodils galore. Before we go on to anything else, Tabitha, how do you feel, since you are an employee of the town? Do you feel, this is not personally you, I'm talking about the people you work with. Is it appropriate to acknowledge them, even though they are doing their job?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with Public Works for a long time, and those guys, they work really hard. And when we direct them to do a job, if we don't pat them on the back, they get really discouraged. They're not, sometimes they don't have the benefit of advanced education and stuff like that. So when they do a project, it's emotional for them. And then when they don't get, and they're not included in whatever announcement comes out as being part of it, I think they feel a little snubbed.
Yeah. I also felt that the two projects that we did down at Avery Parklet and then at the top of Fort Hill, I mean, they brought big equipment and they were absolutely delightful. And then Joe Curioso, who was a supervisor, followed up with some information about suggestions, which was really above and beyond. And I don't know, I guess I feel like it's a pleasure doing work with them. And I don't necessarily think that is the case when you work with everyone in a professional way. So I really felt like they went above and beyond. So that's why I wanted to acknowledge them. And
Be good.
yes,
May I speak?
Nancy, yes, please do.
I don't think we need to belabor this issue. I really believe that everyone deserves credit where it's deserved. And there's nothing wrong with recognizing people for what they've done. So we should do that, whether it's on the town website or whether it's a personal note to that department, whatever it is, and it comes from us. It doesn't have to be a sign by the side of the highway. I think it's even more personal when it's sent right to these people.
Okay, thank you, Nancy.
Good.
Well, I can tell you they did a big project when they put my sculpture in. That was a big deal, pouring that concrete pad and mounting that thing.
And did we send a thank you note? Did we send any kind of a recognition or So maybe we need to start doing that.
Good idea.
It doesn't have to be anything major, even an email is
No.
probably fine.
Right. Well, I just think it's nice to, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been emailing either Greg or Steve Post to let them know how phenomenal the guys are. And actually, Aline has brought cookies. So, you know, a little bit of food is always good too, right?
That's right.
Well, you
All right,
fed them too when we worked at the annex.
Yes,
You
yes,
fed
right,
them
right.
as well.
Yeah, we did some bread. Yeah. All right. Okay. Anything else on communications? I will.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Jeff Papaki
Yep.
from the skateboard. I think I sent that to everyone. So it's basically what happened. We talked and he was saying that they are in the process of renovation and expanding the skate park. And they are kind of probably a year away from having something concrete to work on. So I said, it looks like we are a little bit early to get involved in any kind of landscaping or around the park. And he said, yeah, sure, let me keep you informed. And so we left it at that. And I asked him if he would mind being invited to a meeting to give everybody an update on what they are doing when time is appropriate.
Mhm.
And he said, fine. So that's the way we left
How
it.
much, Aileen, how much money did they get? Did the council appropriate?
I don't remember. I know they got some money. I just don't remember the amount.
I believe it was in the area of about $200,000, Nancy.
Mm.
It's a lot.
200,000.
It's a
Yeah.
lot. Thank you, Aline. I want to piggyback on that because we'll be talking about this later. We did our spring cleanup and there was a lovely mother and daughter who went over to Sutton Park and it's an absolute mess. She specifically noted that there are trash cans right there and people aren't throwing their trash away. And I would like to push these people who want to have the skate park. If the people, and this isn't all young people, they're cigarette butts. So these are people old enough to be smoking. There's older people there too. If they can't be bothered to put their trash in a trash can, I'm telling you, I have a very hard time supporting a project like this. I mean, that is disrespectful to our town and the Parks and Rec department. So I don't know how to encourage people not to litter. I mean, she said that within a few feet of a trash can, there was just, people, obviously, this was actually not on the skate park. The skate park, it's all over, but they didn't go into that area. But this was on the basketball court. You've seen water bottles, Gatorade bottles, and one is they need a recycling can there. Two, but nobody even threw it in the trash. So I find that fairly discouraging, specifically.
Very, very.
Is there not a law in town that says littering is illegal and you can get a fine? I find that hard to believe that we can't have a sign, or is that not I don't know. I'm asking whether there's any kind of a law. It wouldn't have to be a big fine, but I think even a little fine would discourage people. I just did the cleanup on Fort Hill Road in front of Ackley. I could not carry the bags back with me. There were so many, just you name it, pizza boxes, everything thrown into the bushes there. The kids walk back and forth there to go to school or to go to the stores. I think a sign that would say that, and if occasionally something was, a policeman saw somebody, if that was, what are your thoughts? I mean, I think those signs do work.
There is a fine when you litter a state highway, which is what that is. It's $217, if I recall. But, nobody enforces any of that stuff.
Well,
Right.
that's the problem. I mean, if you could push to get somebody to enforce it for, a certain period of time where it would really make some kind of an impact, then,
The word
maybe people would
down.
start paying attention. Yeah.
The word would get around, it would get out.
I think it would be a huge challenge for, to being quite honest, for our police officers to police that kind of behavior.
Can't recommend that at least? Can we recommend that so that they look into that?
Andrew?
So one of the things I wrote in a response to the email, because like I said, my schedule changed at the casino, whatever. So now I'll be able to come to the meetings and get more active in some of the projects. One of the things I suggested was, I think that the cleanup is exceptional. The thing is I don't think it's going to work for one weekend. I think what we've got to do is we've got to designate, like I said, for example, the month of May is the cleanup Groton month. And that way, when we start, it's a pain in the neck because we're going to have to get out there, some of us, but we can get other people to do their neighborhoods. Take your neighborhood area.
All right, I'm going to stop you for a second, Andrew, because can we talk about that under spring cleanup?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're still on communications.
Okay.
So I want to hear that thought, but.
In relation to what Missy was saying about fines.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The problem is enforcement. It's
Right.
just like zoning enforcement. You've got to have a method of doing that. And then when we backtrack, when we go to the next agenda item for the new idea. But I totally agree with Missy on that. Nothing's going to get done unless people think it's serious. And it's not the beautification committee's legal responsibility. It's everybody's legal responsibility. But we are one of the bridges too. If we see something, you have to report it.
Well, I'm hoping we can have almost a partnership, especially if once they build the bathroom, if we can get a mural on there, something that has to do with skating. We have to get the people using the park involved so they respect it. And I don't know that fining is the way to do it, but certainly getting people to buy in, the whole idea of being proud of their park, taking care of their park, bigger ask. But I don't think we can fine our way to people not being, not dropping their water bottle on the ground. So anyways, I don't want to keep you guys here. So when the agenda was printed up, actually under new business, that should be under unfinished business. Unfinished business is all the stuff under new business. All right.
Yes.
So unfinished business, I like to throw that out to you guys to see, new business, I'm in charge of unfinished business, believe me, as you can see this enormous list, but new business, I want to hear from you guys. Obviously I want to hear from you guys all the time. All right, are we ready to move on to unfinished business?
Yes.
Okay. First thing, this was in random order, but first thing is murals. Is there anything, have we heard anything from anyone about murals? Bruce or Dana?
Yeah, Bruce sent an email. We were waiting. Did you get a response, Bruce? Because I didn't hear anything back.
Email on what?
On the painter you were sending that email.
I did talk to him and told him that you and I were involved in this, and when I got back, he didn't seem like he was in any hurry to do anything. So I said when I got back, we'd get together.
Which one was this? Which
huh?
person was this? Who did you speak to?
The fellow who took over for
Kevin?
What's his name? Baccio?
Kevin Baccio?
Baccio. Okay.
Yeah.
I spoke with him. I called him.
Okay.
And but I don't know anything about him, So
Right.
When I get back, which will be next week,
Okay.
I'll touch base with him and I'll talk to whoever we need to get things rolling a little bit. I gave him some parameters. He knows roughly what we want. A historical context, if possible, or something that is related to that area down there by Ackley's place. I gave him the dimensions. I asked him to go over and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like immediately in our area. It seems to me he's like from Moosop or some
Yeah, kind of Plainville or
place like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Have you seen any of his work? I hadn't seen his work. Have you seen his work,
No,
Bruce?
I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything about it. That's why I want to
All right. So as soon
get
as
us
you get
together when we get back. And I haven't heard anything from the parks people on the Fitch murals either. So short of calling Mark and asking him what's going on, I don't know anything about that either. So it looks like everything's on hold for the moment.
Right.
Okay.
So So when you get back, if we can make some appointments with him,
Oh,
yes,
absolutely, yeah.
he is
I
discuss.
gave them some names, and in fact, I don't know if they've checked on these people or not, but I have certainly emailed some people and they've expressed some interest. No question
Okay.
about that. What we need, number one, we need some money. We need a place to do a couple of these things. We need some real specifics that we can talk to with these people. But so far, we've got nothing back from them on a theme.
Okay.
And we need to
Do-
decide on that too. I mean, I don't think we can just ask people to come up with a theme and tell them we want it to be historical.
Right.
I think we have to kind of lead them along a little bit and tell them exactly what we want. You know,
Yeah.
do you want a ship out in the ocean? Do you want some indigenous people in canoes? You know, that kind of thing.
Okay. I did meet, when, we went to the Mystic Middle School, Matt Schulman, introduced me to Jamal Davis, who I believe is the assistant principal. Is that correct, Aline?
Yes.
And he is doing a mural program with some kids in the school itself. And one of the things Kevin said is that he really would like to work with schools if he could. And so at least we will have that connection if we ever, if we ever move forward. If we don't, and we have to start afresh, we still, Mr. Davis is very interested in exposing his kids to some muraling in the school. So,
Well, just keeping one thing in mind, working with kids, I've done this before with murals down in New London with kids. We want to make sure that they don't have kind of control over this project, and their ideas are not the ones that we work with. If we give them anything to do, it should be like really minor.
yeah.
And because it just doesn't work well, I can tell you
Right,
that
right,
from
yeah,
experience.
not on the design or anything, it was more on the, I think, at least Kevin was very interested, excuse me, in letting young people know that there are artistic ways to express themselves, which could be more than just in a studio. So,
I have a question. I wondered if anybody, I know we had talked about this, if anybody had reached out to the Mystic Seaport to find out who did that large mural.
Bruce did that a long time
I
ago.
did that, yeah. And I gave that information to Mark. He was supposed to go over and look at it. I talked to the lady. She's pretty good. She's an
Yeah.
accomplished artist. And the one that they did over there is pretty abstract, but it's a beautiful thing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing that we could do
On the
our
middle
own,
school,
too.
on
Yeah,
Fitch Middle School.
Well,
Yes.
it was also very pricey, if I recall. I mean, that was a huge mural.
it's a big mural. I'd have, I don't know if I talked to you guys about
We
it.
did,
but
we did.
I have-
It's in the minutes somewhere, I'm sure, or at least in a recording. It was a lot of money, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, well, if you
Well,
want
again,
somebody
you
that's
know,
really good and you're
If
gonna do a
we
big
feel really
mural,
good, and we need
the-
them, if we can go after grants, this is something to look at as a big project for us.
it's
that would
like
be-
$5,000 to $10,000 to do a
Uh-huh.
big, good mural with somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right.
I priced them down here. I talked to the people down here in DeLand, and they've done dozens of them down here. So we can design something on our own, but accomplishing the actual work is a completely different deal.
Mhm.
But plenty of people are willing to do it. So we just need to get our act together and,
Okay.
put it in gear.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna move on to the Mystic Fountain. That actually, so we're talking about the downtown the fountain that's downtown in front of the Bank Square Books. So, Nancy, Aline, myself, Mark Berry met with Larry from Legs Landscaping, Larry Grundy, and he looked at everything and he's supposed to come up with, he's willing to do some labor if plants are paid for. I've spoken with him. I haven't seen anything yet from him as far as he wants to do a redesign of the plants at the public bathroom area right across from what's the area there? There's a restaurant.
That's the
Right.
entrance to the museum, right? The entrance. to
Yeah,
the-
yes, right next to the
Factory Square.
art museum, exactly. And then also working on the fountain, and we also discussed the John Kelly area, and so we discussed it. Hasn't been any movement forward, unfortunately, yet. And then the next thing was the letter of appreciation. I sent the wording out, which was just a idea. Missy had shown me what the Mystic Garden Club does, which was a nice template. So I started there, and then did you all see that Tabitha made it pretty?
Yeah, that was
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
so let me see. Where's my, oh. So
Yeah.
here it is.
Put up a little- yeah.
And we could, I put in Harlequin Sky, that's my dog's registered name. So, and I didn't want to put in Cindy Fortner because that seemed a little presumptuous. So, and I put in a couple things like, the committee recognizes the effort that goes into enhancing, and then I just said your property, as in, or whatever we want to put there, your business. And I also put in, first it was going to be a business, but we also have a couple of individuals in town who on their own are doing a lot of work. There's an individual who's working on the memorial garden at the library and senior center. There is a woman I'm working with, Shirley Miskos, who's doing a lot of stuff totally on her own. Doesn't ask for anything and just does it out of the goodness of her heart. So this is something that, once again, we can look at. I'd like you all to read this. Obviously, there would be a letter that goes with this explaining what the beautification committee is, once again, stating our mission and trying to, saying something, hopefully that shows our thanks for their hard work. Tabitha made it look lovely. Any comments from anybody right now?
Is there any way we can frame them inexpensively? It really makes a much bigger impact.
No.
You can get an inexpensive frame and present it to the person live. Go to their place, or that's how we do it. We even put it in the paper. Sometimes it gets paper, sometimes it does not. But that really, really makes people feel good when it's in the paper. And like Andrew said, maybe we should be submitting things in the paper more frequently about our projects, and then list who won the beautification awards for that month or whatever. I don't know. Have we discussed how many of these we're going to give out per year, or anything
Not
like
yet.
that?
No, that is absolutely under discussion. It certainly is not going to be monthly. I would imagine.
Maybe quarterly or something. Yeah.
What do you guys
Quarterly,
think?
quarterly
There's-
or every other month?
Already, yeah. We have a big backlog. So we can even discuss who those people are, when do you want to do that in terms of discussion? And do we have a person who's in charge of communications that you can pass this on to? I don't think you have to do this, Cindy, yourself.
No, actually, you had mentioned you'd sent a message to me. I'm wondering if we need to first get it out there that we're going to do this. And I don't know if that's through something in the paper, if we could get any publicity, or if we do need to send out something to businesses. What do you guys think?
I
I'm
would
sorry, that we're giving out an award? Is that what you're saying, or what?
Yeah,
what do you
the Town of Groton Beautification Committee Award.
And you think we should go to get approval for this or something? I'm sorry.
No. I want people, we need businesses to know that it's a thing. That's all. How do we get more businesses understanding that there is some type of acknowledgement of their efforts?
Well, first we should have a little article in the day or something, and have somebody, maybe you talk to them or whoever the spokesperson is, just to say what we're doing. And then I don't know how they do in those little notices that they have, some kind of a notice of the beautification committee awarding blah, blah, blah when they come up. But it should be an article, I think, to begin with, to talk about what we're doing for the town.
Okay.
Yeah, you can talk to Kim Kim Dreich, I think her name is, from the day. We talked to her all the
Kimberly
time.
Dreilick, yeah.
Wait,
Kimberly-
say it again.
Kimberly, I think it's Kimberly Dreilick, but I'm not sure if she's
Drillick, yeah.
Dreilick.
You know how to spell it?
I think it's
DRELIC.
Okay.
What
D.
happens with the day sometimes is that, the lights went out in this room, sorry. Is that they have limited space. So what
Right.
you want to do is, if you're going to do an article like that, they may publish a small portion of that. And
Mhm.
it's usually in the community section, unless you're doing something very, very large or big. So if you connected it, for example, with a project that you're doing, the next project, whatever that's going to be, which we're working on, then you might get more of a chance to get, and by the way, the beautification committee is also going to be starting to present quarterly, for example, awards for the people that have helped make all these projects happen, ...
Yeah,
That you'll
okay.
get better
Yeah.
bang for your buck.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we want to start in the day. Okay. All right. Okay. That sounds like a really good plan.
I nominate Andrew for the communication committee. Correct.
We don't have a communication committee.
Wait,
We
who is
need
that
one.
speaking? No. I'm just kidding.
I'll
Whatever
second.
you need, just write it down and I'll get it over there. I can fix it up however you want it. And I'll talk to the newspaper reporter.
Okay.
Good.
All right. And so are you guys thinking that quarterly would be good? And that would be, do people have feelings about a business or a individual? Or should it just be as it falls out?
I think it's just as it falls out. Yeah.
Yeah, see what develops.
Right.
Okay, and so are we thinking,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, Missy.
Didn't we already list like 6 different people already? We already talked about the first 6. We already talked about the new barn, the
No.
place that's up, and the front, the landscaping in the front of that.
Yeah,
And so appreciative that they're doing a careful, nice landscaping of the new business. And we talked about like 4 or 5.
I thought that was the only one. That was the one I think that we all, anyone who's driven by has noticed what a dramatic improvement it is. Was that finished, Bruce, when you left?
Which that?
The barn on
No.
Route 1?
No.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
I
it's a
just got-
dramatic improvement, and now
What are
actually,
the trees that they planted? I'm curious to know what kind of trees they planted, because that would, no, that, I mean, that would, I'm gonna stop and ask, because it kind of sets a theme for other businesses to follow.
Well, has anybody noticed the absolutely gorgeous blooming trees at the Grasso Tech entrance?
Oh, yes, they're the
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. So,
So if you keep
certainly the
Yeah.
barn is the only one that actually pops to my mind.
I don't know.
Aline?
Maybe pretty soon, there may be, the Groton Utilities will have their front
Yeah.
redone and will look nice, hopefully.
We certainly hope. We certainly hope. Yes. All right. So, but I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. So we're good quarterly. So 4 per year.
No, not necessarily 4 per year, but quarterly you would announce who you're going to use.
I mean, I'm sorry, 3 per year. Quarterly would, no, there's 4 quarters in a year, right?
4 quarters.
Yeah, there's 4 quarters in a year. So if we did it quarterly, that would means we'd have every 3 months, we'd pick something.
Yeah.
Does that sound reasonable? Actually, we don't even really have to set that, do we?
Yeah,
But-
because you're going to be having projects that are going to overlap or maybe in conjunction with other projects. So if at the end of that quarterly period, you may have more people that you're recognizing than other periods, for example.
Yeah. It's just
Not-
if you
not-
recognize too many people too often, it's going to lose its,
Right. Yeah.
value.
Significance.
I don't
yeah.
think we have to worry about that.
Girl who took care of the fountain is the one that we talked about, giving her something, because for the past, 5 years,
Right.
she's paid for all the plants in the fountain and she's taken care of the fountain. I really would like her to get a letter, kind of like looking back, you've done this for 4 or 5 years. You've spent hundreds of dollars every season to plant that fountain. And I think she deserves one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
I
we
believe
talked
she's,
about-
she believes she's deserving too. I'm not sure about going backwards because there's probably a lot of people who've done nice things, but we're going to talk specifics later. But I think we're just talking quarterly to start with. And that might be a good way to start it, to say, oh, and this person has done tremendous work and now moving forward. That's an idea too.
I
Yeah.
would love to start, though. I would really love to start with the barn because that whole area needs a shot in the arm. And that would be, it kind of lets other people know, even Johnson's Hardware, that we are recognized what these guys have done and the plantings that they've paid for and put in to make Groton, beautiful. I think that would be kind of like our opening award.
Salvo. Well, also, if you noticed, so there's the barn, and then next to that, there's a big gray building that used to be a bakery, which was
Right.
kind of not, and now they're doing something in there, and I don't know what they're doing, but I am
They painted it.
hoping that it will continue on down the road.
Are
Exactly.
they doing anything with Pequannock Park? I sent Mark a picture of some of the LED lights that they use on some of the plantings down here to like pick that area up because it's a gorgeous area. It's town owned.
Yeah,
Have they done anything with that at all? Like,
no,
no,
No.
of
no,
course
that's, no.
not.
Although that would be probably, yeah, no, they have not, no.
There's supposed to be a pavilion down there, kind of a pergola sort of deal that they've been working on for like over a year, which is still not done. At least it wasn't done when I left.
You're talking about the end of the boardwalk?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just got a permit they're requesting a permit for a pump track.
For what?
The
A
pump
pump
track's
track?
different. Pump track is
It's
I don't even
mountain
understand what that
biking.
is. What about the top of the pergola at the end of the boardwalk? There's a pergola that has no roof.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, all right.
That's what should be adorned by us or Mark or somebody because it's it's a big deal. It's one of the prettiest places in town and it looks pretty forlorn.
What's
Well,
a pump track? I want to know what a pump track is, please.
I'm
It's
afraid
a-
to ask.
It's
Something about biking.
It's a dirt track that you use for mountain biking. It has they call them pumps or rollers, and they're little hills, and you go over them and you move your bike up and down, and then there's
This
a wall.
No, this is next to the river over by where the barn, that new place is, that bar.
Isn't the pump
Is
track
that the
more
same thing
next
you're
to
talking
that
about?
little
It's where the
park?
playground is.
Yeah. it's
Oh
where the
no,
playground
this
Yeah.
is not there. This is over across from where the Groton Utilities is, right
Yes.
across the street
Yeah.
where the river is, right there.
Yeah.
But it comes out, Bruce, if you take the boardwalk all the way down, it comes out at the little play area.
Yeah.
Colleen is just there
So
cleaning
that's
stuff
where the
up.
pump
There's-
shack thing is?
And that's where the pump track is. Yeah.
Will
Okay.
be.
Will
All
be.
right, gotcha.
Okay, yeah, they've been raising money for that for quite a while, I believe. It sounds like, for people who like to ride kind of dirt bikes, isn't it?
Mountain bikes.
Mountain
And
bikes.
I'm a mountain bike rider.
mountain bikes.
And
Yeah,
the
mountain bikes. That's what I
community is
meant to
pretty
say.
excited about it.
I
So
dated myself.
that's
mountain bike.
okay.
Yeah, so it's just another way to stay physically fit and really have fun and meet people and, get active, basically. So
And it's a
there's
group
a
of
big
people
sign
that's-
right up there talking about the pump track if you go to the playground.
So it's a
So-
group of people who have raised money to do this, though? This is a separate group of people? Tabitha,
Yeah.
is that?
And well, Parks and Rec is kind of the sponsor, but I believe it's a separate group that raised money, and they still need a lot of money to go.
Mhm.
But we're trying to do the permits for them.
Right. Thank you.
All right, quickly, we did have our spring cleanup, on Saturday, we had 18 participants. Aline was there, I missed you, I'm so sorry, I must have left right before you got there. Aline, would you like to talk about it a little bit, since I'm getting a dry mouth from talking so much?
Well, as everybody can guess, we collected trash. And there was quite an array of trash. We had vacuum cleaners, tires, cans of paints, radio, parts of radios, part of bikes, tons of bottles, nips, and lots and lots. And actually, I did that with someone named Bernadette, and I walked the boardwalk, and we did only the part we could reach, because there are a lot of parts we cannot access from the boardwalk, or walk underneath to access the trash. But it is very, very sad looking area. It really needs a lot of effort to bring that back to some sense of nature. And it's next to the water. I mean, there are really tons of things that are ending in the water. And I don't know, it's been like this for years, I think, and then it's not picking up for 3 hours on once a year that is going to solve that issue.
Right.
I agree.
But,
I reached out to many more groups, and we still only got 18 people, which is a lot better than last year. Last year, if we hadn't had the Fitch baseball team, we would have had about 5 of us maybe. We did get, I do have the, oh, there's Callie. Seems very, very happy to be with you, Bruce. We had 5 cadets from the Coast Guard, so from the Sustainability Club. So I have that contact now. They were delightful young people.
I'm sending the thank you to the commandant, so there will be a thank you going from us.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I did send an email to the young women who, my contacts, just
Yeah.
telling them how awesome these young people were. And we also had 2 or 3 young people with parents, which was also really nice, because that's a good thing to have. They were just coming out of the goodness out of their heart with their parents. Anyway, so
And there was also a gentleman who stopped and spoke, and he just moved into that neighborhood around Midway Oval, and he's very upset with how things look in his own neighborhood. And so we kind of talked about doing a neighborhood by neighborhood cleanup by sending out just flyers in a neighborhood. And here's a homeowner who wants to participate in doing something for his neighborhood. And I thought that might be a good thing for us to do little by little. He said the property that's right on the corner across from Dairy Queen, he has to look at that every day. And he would be willing to help organize a neighborhood cleanup.
perfect segue to Andrew, who has a wonderful idea about, and he, I believe, sent it out to all of us.
Yeah, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I remember years ago, we had some things happening down in the city, and somebody said, we need a clean up your act day. So it's kind of like getting the community involved. And if you have anybody like that is willing to do it, we need to get his name immediately. I'll call him up. I'll go see him, whatever we need to do. And
You got his information, Nancy?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that we need to think, like Andrew said, we need to think in smaller terms. Sometimes we think too big, and now we need to really bring it down and concentrate on. And here's a man who wants to help. So
And also what Andrew's talking about is individual responsibility for individual neighborhoods. So I'm sorry, Andrew, go ahead.
That would be it. I mean, we can get any type of a write-up you want. Just let me know if the committee would be willing to kind of make May the designated month to just kind of keep cleaning up what we're doing in the individual neighborhoods that it was so successful, but there's more that needs to be done. So we agreed tonight. We just want to continue this into May. Pick your neighborhood area, Aquatic Bridge, Long Hill, Noank, Groton City, Mystic area, West Mystic, wherever you live, get a few people in there, and you pick every Saturday, you do an hour or 2. And you'll be surprised what can happen. And then everybody talks to their neighbors because things are starting to look better. And they're like, oh, I kind of like that. I mean, it's similar to what happens when the council-RTM make decisions with regards to projects or zoning things. And then all of a sudden, if the people are involved in it, because you're talking directly with them, you're gonna have a better response sometimes than if it comes from the other direction.
All right, well, we'd have to decide that tonight. And how would you propose we do that? We just put it out there, try to include it maybe in some type of article?
I would suggest, if the committee would agree to it, we would just publish an article or a PR piece that says, this is what the committee's decided to do. We want you to come on aboard, make it positive. The ones that don't want to do it, then they're not going to have as clean a neighborhood, but hopefully they won't feel that way.
Well, this is individuals taking responsibility for their neighborhood versus us organizing a cleanup and providing
Exactly.
trash bags and.
Right, you're
trash
bringing
pickups.
right to the people now. The people are coming involved now, and then the committee, we lead it and we participate in it as much as we all can with our schedules. But you pick the dates that you want to do it, the time periods. As far as providing staff, I know that looked like there were bags and little pokers provided. I don't know how that would be done. I would say everybody can bring their own type of materials if they can do it. If the
Yeah.
town do some of that with some of us leading that, that would be helpful. Make it very simple.
Well, is there any way that they can do it without us leading it? Because I gotta tell you, it was a lot of work to get
Mhm.
18 people to come clean
Right,
pick
right.
up trash. It was a daily situation of contacting people and reaching out. And we had the electronic bulletin board at Grosso Tech and at the senior center. And Tabitha posted it all over the Town of Groton website. The Aline I think had the social services made a beautiful flyer and posted it, and we still got 18 people. So I would like to empower people, residents of the town, to
Mhm.
clean up their own areas. So how
Right.
do we do that?
I think you have to state it quite honestly that we're a committee, we're not necessarily the Public Works Department. The Public Works Department has projects that are agreed upon, that are voted upon, and that are funded. We have to, if we want to do this and make it even more effective, we can't expect a committee of 7, whatever, 2 alternates, 5, 7 people, and whoever we can get, we can't expect that it's always going to solve the whole problem. And it's going to be pressure on you as the chairperson and the other members, and you don't want to get that momentum, which you've done an outstanding job, by the way. You don't want to have that where you're going to wear people out and then people are just going to not bother. So
Right.
it's directly incumbent to say to the public now, and I'm sure there's people watching, hello out there, let's get you all involved. It's a great now time. People are getting out. Hopefully the COVID-19 virus hopefully is subsiding. We're getting back together as a community. Let's prove that Groton is a leading community in this area. Let's prove that when you drive into Groton, you're like, oh my God, I'm driving into Westbrook, or I'm driving into Centerbrook, or East Lyme, or whatever you want to call it, Old Saybrook, Stone. What about Groton? Groton's got it all, but do we use it? Do we project it all? Who's got the cleanest neighborhood in Groton? I challenge you.
Yeah.
You know,
that's lovely. Well, I love the Clean Up Your Act. And if we could make it some type of challenge, there's not going to really be a judging or an awarding at this point, but that would be a wonderful, like, do you think you could write up an article and send it out to us? And because I would love that, but I really want to empower people so that we aren't constantly leading these kind of things. And then you hear a lot of social media bad talk about, oh, there's so much trash. And yes, there is trash. But some of it flies out of the off the trash truck. Some of it, if you throw stuff in your trash bin and it's not inside of a bag, it flies out. So unfortunately, there is a certain amount of trash. But if people will start to pick up in their own areas,
maybe all we have to do is, I like Andrew's enthusiasm, and I like the article that goes into the paper, and maybe all the article has to say, or the little news clip has to say is just what you entitled it, and that our role will be, if your neighborhood wants to accept this challenge, it can be your neighborhood, contact this number, for garbage bags, and we will deliver garbage bags to you. I mean, it could be as simple as that. Clean up the neighborhood.
Right, and then you set dates that you're gonna hopefully make the month of May clean up. You know, May's a beautiful month usually with flowers and stuff.
They
Make
could do
May,
it every day of the, they could do it every day of the year is what I could do.
oh,
but
absolutely. It'd
no.
be- Yeah, but
Yeah.
so
But
people
yeah,
are
I think
out.
it's getting, it's inspiring the neighbors to do something. I think it is to be a little block at it, if that's at all possible. And it should go into the Mystic River Press as a little article. And Beautification is working on this. And if you accept the challenge, clean up your neighborhood.
Right,
We'll
and if they
deliver
don't-
the bag. We'll deliver the bags.
If they don't want to
Yeah.
do it, we'll put them on the wall of shame.
Oof,
They bring your rubber gloves, we'll bring the bags.
yeah,
There you go.
Right.
okay. Well, awesome. So you think you could, Andrew, you could write something up?
Yeah, do you want me to send it? I'll send it to the committee
Yes.
if you want first, just for,
Yes.
you can look at it a little bit. It'll be kind of within this group of 7 there.
Uh-huh.
Or if you want to include, sometimes we have some people that are involved, whatever you want to do, let me know.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh,
If you
awesome.
want
That'd be
it
great.
tighter, whatever.
Okay, moving on, because I know people want to eat dinner eventually. So I had a great meeting at Par 4 last week. It was myself, Mark Berry, and Shirley Miskos, who was a longtime member, but she doesn't have any kind of setup to attend anything by Zoom. But she does a lot of work just on her own in the garden, at the town hall and at the senior center. And she's very interested in doing stuff at Par 4. The reason this came up is because when we went to the middle school, I printed out a copy of the presentation I gave to the town council. One of the things I said we were going to do is Par 4. And then it kind of stalled. Tabitha made a wonderful drawing last year. It has 4 different types of grasses, 4 large rocks, and Mark was very enthusiastic. Shirley, who had made a huge landscape plan previously, was also enthusiastic. She has a bunch of stuff that she's been collecting, grasses. We can get a 30% discount because we're a municipality. I told Mark it would be about $500, it looked like. And so they're supposed to be, the first thing that has to happen is the rocks have to be placed at a little garden in front of Par 4. And then we're gonna buy some plants and Shirley's gonna put them in. And that's what we're gonna do. So I am hoping that maybe our next meeting would actually be at Par 4, hoping and praying that the garden will not be completed, but will be either, the rocks will be there, some of the plants that we were able to purchase will be there, and then there will be other spots marking the area where other plants are going to go. We're gonna get the Liriope, which there's a lot of Liriope at the public bathroom in Mystic on Water Street. That's all gonna get dug up. And so that shall come to us and we shall reuse it. So I'm hoping that's something, I realize we made that presentation and I gotta get that stuff checked off the list. In order to, that's part of what we said we were gonna do. So I'd like to have the next meeting at Par 4. I think we had discussed, I don't know if it was me and Nancy or Leanne or Elaine, I'm not sure. This was at the spring cleanup, about possibly sometimes meeting somewhere where we've done some work or we are going to do some work.
Mhm. Good idea.
So that we can really take a peek. I'm sorry, Andrew, what do you want to say?
I didn't want to stop your thought, interrupt your thought. Tabitha, I'm going to ask with the permission of the committee, you do such a fantastic job. You really do. You're such an asset to the town. And I'm thinking that if you could maybe send either the committee or me, I don't know if you probably could, but you probably already have them, pictures of the sites that we've worked on. So I can maybe have 3 photos of them. If I can encourage a larger article, we might be able to get some photos in there if the day will do it. I don't know. Or maybe the Mystic River Press, Westerly Sun. I don't know if they'll do it or not, but it's a possibility. But if I can get maybe of all the sites that we've done, even 3 to make it simple for you, that are good pictures. I know Sutton Park, we had some, and of course I made sure they cut me out so they couldn't see my fat body. But anyway, you know, we wanted to look at the plants and the uniformity throughout the town and all that, so.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, so we did Sutton Park, we did the Parklet, we did the Annex. We also have, I'm hoping we can get something installed at the top of Fort Hill Road. And those are major differences. And then this par 4 thing, I'm hoping we can get some publicity for that too.
I'll try to dig up some before photos too. That's always a good
That was great.
contrast.
I
Yeah.
have some too, Tabitha. I have
You
some
do?
too. Yeah.
Okay.
At the top of Fort Hill Road, is it going to be a flowering tree? Do you know?
No, no, evergreen,
Tree.
evergreen.
An evergreen. Okay.
Yeah.
Just made me think of something, if I can ask a quick question. Tabitha, you may know this. Does the town have a tree replacement program? I tried to do that when we were down in the city when I was on the council, and they kind of had one, but it wasn't, they did a lot of flowering trees because they were smaller under the wires on the city roads at the time, because their budget's different, was partially funded by the town. Does the town have that? Could we encourage, and that's a whole nother meeting, Cindy, I don't want to get off, but that might be something, since Missy mentioned trees, about a uniformity of tree replacement.
Yeah, I don't know that the town does. I'd have to check with Public Works, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know.
Because
anything
that's,
about
you know, as the tree, Groton has a lot of older, I think the state oak tree is the state tree, but we have a lot of hickory and nut trees that are getting older. As Eileen, my neighbor Eileen knows, and some of them we don't want to cut and some of them we have to trim and whatever, but they are very good for the environment, and aesthetically, some of them are very good for cooling in the summer and all that kind of stuff.
Tabitha, is there money that we can ask for through ARPA, all the ARP monies? Because I know some towns are getting beautification money through ARP.
Unfortunately, ARPA is a bit in flux right now, if you guys have been following the
No,
budget.
That's why I ask you. Yes.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a curveball thrown in, so I can't really answer that. My understanding was there would be a grant application round, and we were working towards that.
Yeah.
I
And what
have
is-
not heard. I have
what's
not
the
heard the
curveball?
curveball.
Yeah. What is the curveball?
Can you give us a sound bite, or is that a different conversation?
Tell us what it is.
No, I mean, it's a public meeting. It's if you've been watching the budget hearings at all, it's so basically the town manager is allocated and the council have allocated like half of the ARPA money towards the CIP projects.
Oh, there was
really?
yeah.
The
So how,
CIP
okay,
projects that we voted on at the budget, like the RTM vote, that stuff? Is that what you're
I
saying?
understand this about as much as that, so I don't want to say anything and being recorded, so.
so there we go. The beautification committee may need to be a little more aggressive. I'll say assertive, not aggressive, assertive in moving agendas or our agenda, maybe forward to the town council and town manager and possible RTM when they vote over their limit. There is a big article about that, but that's a whole nother political thing.
You know, I don't have, if I don't have anything to put in front of the council to ask for money at this point. So
Right.
I can't complain. And also, if any of us, me included, who went on there but didn't finish the thing for the greatergroton.com, that's the way to get other allocations, right? And I think a lot of people want beautification, but unless we make our voice heard, and not with us, you have to
Right.
let your voice heard to the town council, by the town council.
Well said.
So-
And just one other question, just Tabitha, who is the gentleman who is in charge of this? What is his name?
Of ARPA, the coordinator?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Kevin Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Quickly, bulb fundraiser. Do we have anything on the bulb fundraiser, Nancy?
It will happen, not to worry. We're going to
Okay.
have 10,000 daffodils planted in this town.
Okay. All right.
But they're going to be King Alfred. I'm sorry, they're going to be, they're going to be King Alfred.
I love the uniformity here.
That's
Right, that's
right.
true. That's true. And actually in the yellow, and there's so many other little grape hydrangeas coming up that are
Yes.
volunteers. It's really pretty.
It is.
Okay, thank you. I've got down here chain link fence. Is anybody want to do anything with chain link fence beautification? Because I am not going to take that on. I don't know if anybody, we talked with, there's a small area that's in front of the Groton Utilities that they may do something with, but they're a private organization. We've been talking about other areas, but I
thought it
am
was
not going to take that on at this time.
No.
I have to do this really quickly and interrupt. My battery's ready to give out. I'm over
Okay.
at the senior center. I'm kind of pop off on you all in a minute.
Okay,
Just a quick suggestion, and I'll bring it up at the next meeting. There's an artist that I know connected with the hygienic arts. He's a
Yep.
painter. He does tiles. He does things like this. I'm going to see it with your indulgence. I'm going to try to approach him. Maybe he could give us some ideas. His name is
absolutely.
Adrian. Okay, I'll approach him and see what he says. And I'm going to have to sign off and leave early. I'm so sorry.
All right. Good to see you, Andrew.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
All right.
Okay, bye.
But Cindy, Leanne was going to check with the town to see what was happening with the field next to.
Oh, right. You're right.
And I don't know if she communicated with you about that or not, but
She did not, but I think she sent a message that she was in charge of a committee meeting for the RTM today.
okay.
So she thought she might be able to come late, but when you're talking about the budget and being in the RTM, it's those meetings can tend to get longish. So I didn't really expect her to come. So she is back now. As you know, she did get back, and of course she was freezing when we saw her at the cleanup. But so she was gonna find out about that fence, you're right.
Mhm.
All right, so I will remind her. Because we were thinking that sometimes all you need to do is paint a fence and it will make it look a lot better. Okay.
Didn't we
And-
skip sign installation?
I did, where is it? I did, because I was writing about the spring cleanup and I did. Tabitha, sign installation, do you have any information? Thank
We
you.
do. We have the signs. You guys saw the pictures, right? They
Right?
look great. We are looking to install them as soon as possible with Public Works, but we're working through DOT permitting right now. And DOT was saying that we can't put them up. The directional ones, they didn't want us to put them up because they didn't lead to another sign that leads to the place. So they were like telling us we need the entire sign package. So we're trying to work it out with them, but we definitely are putting in the gateway sign at 117 and 1. And I sent the little landscape plan that I had sketched out earlier to the project engineer today, actually.
Oh, nice.
And said I'd like to talk to him about it. So
Okay.
we should probably have a little three-way meeting on that.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Awesome. Yeah.
But
Because I
those
mean,
signs, are those necessary or are they okay? Those church signs on each side, do you want to prohibit those, or are you gonna let people just put their signs on either side of that entrance sign?
I think they'll be removed
Okay,
because they're not legal signs.
they're in, yeah.
Good, that's good.
all right, so if you could just let us know so it doesn't suddenly appear, because I know you want to make sure that there's some trees trimmed back, right? And that we have enough space to put our plantings in there. And then make sure that we get things planted and then mulched by the town, and then hopefully, I don't mind if I'll do some watering if need be, because last thing I want to do is have the stuff die.
Yeah, I agree. So I'll follow up with you, Cindy. It would
Okay.
be Cindy, or does anyone else want to come to that?
To the sign.
Well, it
To
depends
a
what
meeting
it's
about
going
the
to be.
landscape?
Yes.
Needs-
Well, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. All right, and then is there any, I would like to do a work party at the annex and at Sutton Park. The grasses need to be cut back at Sutton Park, and I don't know what has survived through the winter. I know that my bee balm is coming up here in my own garden. I noticed that was at the annex today, and it looked like some of the things overwintered, like some of the lamb's ear was coming up, but it looked like some of the daisies actually died. I mean, I'm shocked because I have a hard time killing my own daisies, but certainly I think there's some space for some Shasta daisies. And then Missy, you know, all those planters that you and your neighbors put together, there's still some perennials there, but we need more annuals. And that's another thing that's gonna, would be nice if that happened in the future. So I would love, why don't I send out an email to see if there's a date and a time that people would like to do and just, you know, plant some stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, I know I'm keeping you so long. And how about unfinished business? There are things that new business. That was unfinished business. Any new
Well,
business?
I have a question about, you know, when we did a downtown and did our little walk around downtown, I didn't go up to the statue and the little park around the statue, but I did get the contact information for the person who was coordinating that whole project. And I wondered if maybe even if we sent a letter to them or contacted them somehow, that, you know, it would be nice if they maintained that park. The people who created the park maintain the park.
Well, so the name I have is Jim Roy.
What was the name I gave you? They live in Mumford Cove, he and his wife.
Yeah, Jim Roy, and everyone
Yeah.
knows her. She's
Right.
very lovely, and she, yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, that was actually suggested. So I'm gonna call Jim and see if I could get him to organize a cleanup. I don't think they're gonna maintain it. It's not an organization. They raised the money, they got the statue. He is aware that people come from all over the country to take their picture there. But there's no real committee anymore. But I was thinking, I know that the running community is very strong. And I think, I'm hoping that he can, I don't know that it's gonna be a beautification thing. I'm gonna encourage him to see if he can reach out to other runners and coordinate a day.
Okay, let me know if there's something I can do. Yeah, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you, please.
Okay, and I did bring the Trillium Garden Club over there too, because they're looking for another garden to maintain. And I also talked with Larry Grundy, but you know, for Larry to maintain all three areas, that's a tremendous amount of time. He would need to be paid for that effort. It would just, you know, it would be a lot of time and expense for him. So if he can maintain the two smaller areas, I personally, and I believe the town would be very, very happy if they want him to maintain the John Kelly area. That's probably something that needs to be, you know, an expense for the town.
Right.
So,
Right.
The Trillium Garden Club is thinking about possibly putting in a few plants. If you're looking at the John Kelly statue, excuse me, in the front of that, there's a beautiful rock that says the people who helped to get the statue built. On either, there's some soil there that really needs some plantings in it because all the mulch is just scooching down onto the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So that seems like the first thing that should be done, as well as a cleanup, removing the weeds, getting some mulch, raking the leaves out of the juniper, the brown cover and cotoneaster. And the other thing is we talked about the possibility of taking out the tree there that's very, very badly damaged. It's only like 50% of a tree, but it's hard to come to a consensus about that. Is half a tree better than no tree?
Well, there's a sign on it. So is that the sign posted
The
on it?
sign was for it to come down, but that was something I requested. I said, would you take a look at the tree? And then the gentleman got back to me and says, oh yeah, it needs to come down. And I was like, wait. Because it's a very large, it's been there a long time. You can't plant anything there because the soil is going to be totally root bound. So I thought it was premature to take down a tree with nothing to replace it. And
So half a tree is better than no tree.
yeah, I am not sure, and I don't think I'm necessarily the one to make that decision. Larry would like it to come down, but the gentleman for the town thought it should come down, but I don't think it's posing a hazard to anyone. And I think I'd like to see it in the spring with leaves on it. If there are no leaves on it, then yeah, it needs to come down. So anyways, so these are all things in Mystic that are in the works, but it's kind of beautification because beautification is trying to coordinate it, but we're not. It's really kind of Larry Grundy, who's a generous business owner who lives in town, working in conjunction with Parks and Rec.
Right.
And then us hoping to be the catalyst. That's how I kind of see it.
Right.
So anyways.
Thanks, Cindy.
Well, so is there anything else? Any new business, anything, Tabitha, anything interesting or delightful?
I told you I have a new job, right?
In a different town? Where are you?
No, same town. I'm the land use planner now instead of the community planner. So
Okay.
I'm kind of doing both right now, but I
Yeah.
will eventually be a land use planner.
Okay, so how does that change your role?
Nothing really.
Oh,
I'll
good.
still be helping you guys out.
Okay. All right. You still have your
I'll be working for Deb Jones instead of Paige Bronk.
okay.
Good.
All right.
That's good.
Okay. Awesome.
Just as a note, Grassotech has their plant sale May 7th to May 11th. And the
May-
Saturday, the
Mother's
sign
Day.
said the Saturday 9 to 9:30. And the other days, 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
2 to 5 or 9 a.m. to 9:30 p.m.
No, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. I think there is some kind of a problem.
Half an
there.
hour?
Half an hour. They didn't have many plants last time. I don't.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. If you want plants, yeah, that's true. You have to go early, otherwise.
Right, they're gone.
they're
Oh,
gone.
but it's May 7th to 11th, and that's the Grassotech.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is just a general announcement. This doesn't have anything to do with us, but the Trillium Garden Club on the 14th house also has a Doug perennial sale. It's on the 14th from 9, I think, until noon, or 1, maybe noon, 9 till noon, at the Groton Public Library around the back. And these are all Doug perennials for anybody who wants homegrown plants. And that doesn't go to benefit us, but for plant lovers, it's great. All right. So last thing here, anything else, anybody? Chrissy?
We just get out that form for, that letter of appreciation to the barn. Can I get that moving? Can you sign it and I will frame it and deliver it? Is it like ready to roll?
Well, wait. I think we really kind of have to vote on that.
Well, let's do
Think you
it.
have-
Can we do that?
We have to vote on if that's what we want to do.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a
let's
good idea.
get work going. Yeah.
I got another cat.
All right, so,
I'd like to just, I think the form needs to be edited a little bit. I'm not sure. Does everybody like the way that it reads?
Well, I don't have it in front of me at the moment, so I can't really talk about specifics. Why don't we,
I don't think we need to actually edit the information. What we want to do is just like, do we want to do it or not? And I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think we all agreed that it's a great idea. And I think the barn should receive one. I just wanted to read correctly. And like the one I got, it needs a little editing. That's all I'm
Yeah, it needs a tiny bit of editing. There's a F and then an OR, and yeah, it wasn't, this is basically a similar form, and obviously,
I mean, I'd like to see, there are some things I'd like to see changed, just a couple of things.
okay.
And then it can go out, as far as I'm concerned.
And leave it up to
But-
somebody to fix it. I mean, it's not a big
Well, I
deal.
know, but we're just going with the barn?
yep, you said that would be a good starting place. I agree. Does anyone else disagree
No, I
with that?
it's like a test run. Let's give it a test run and see how it goes. And get Andrew to put it in the newspaper, that it's publicized.
Yeah. And Cindy, you have to sign it as president of the beautification committee.
Yep,
Handwritten, your signature has to be there.
right.
And then it's really ready to be popped into a little frame. I can do that. I can deliver it. We can get it going. But I need
Uh-huh.
someone to, fix up any typos or anything on it.
Right,
Right.
yeah. All right, so we're not gonna, so is that the only place we're gonna consider? I just feel like we're like going at this real fast. Like we didn't, that was an example of a very nice, something that had been done very nicely, and I don't have any other things in my head, to tell you the truth.
No, and I can't think of another thing another place or another group or another business that has really done anything. And this might be a good way to start. At least we're starting.
To like, in
To
other words, have
Recognize people, to
the
recognize-
article in the paper in conjunction with the first person, the first business to receive it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sure.
Right.
Yep, get it going. Yeah, let it roll. If you have to change the format a little bit, in the future, it won't matter. I don't think if it stands pretty much the way it is. We're just changing the typos. It's nice
Okay,
enough,
right.
frame, lovely.
Okay. Aline, do you have any thoughts?
I think that's fine. I mean, I don't, I'm a little bit concerned that we don't have other businesses to pick from, but why not start with them? I mean, we need to start one day.
Right.
And I
Right.
think, but next time, I think we should probably have a list of people to say, okay, among those, who are we going to pick this time? Because we are not always going to have the barn.
Uh-huh.
Something that is going to stand out like this.
Right. It would be really
we're gonna
nice to
get-
have a nice competition, wouldn't there? Like
Yeah.
how are we gonna pick this? Wouldn't that be nice? All right, so I think this is something we really do need to take a vote on, so, would somebody like to move to,
I move that we adopt a certificate of beautification awarded by the Beautification Committee to businesses and individuals who are making a significant improvement in Groton landscape.
I second that.
all right, okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, we need a
Any
specific,
opposed? Do we have anybody who's opposed to it?
oh, yeah, no, yeah, and then, but I need a specific motion for, the barn.
For
To
what?
award
Okay,
it to the
I
barn.
move that we make our first award to the business called, I think it's called The Barn
It is,
on Pequannock Road, is it?
Mhm.
No, Long Hill.
I'll second that.
Long Hill? Is it Pequannock
Okay.
Road or Long Hill? I don't even know.
it's,
Panic Road.
Yeah.
Pequannock Road.
There is Long Hill, Pequannock Road, and then I don't know. I guess I don't know those two.
I can look it up. Okay, well, I
And
need
Cindy-
to get together with you, Tabitha, so we can, there is a typo, and also to change a couple things, take out the parens and put in the business and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then I probably need to print it on, I mean, this is just printer paper. I'd probably need to print it on something better than that.
Not really. It looks great when it's framed. It really does. As long
Right,
as
but I
it's
mean, it's something a little thicker.
thicker. Okay.
That will frame more nicely if it gets moist or something and you don't want it to wrinkle.
Leave those areas blank so you can write in the areas so that you can make each one custom by writing in the name of the
Oh, yes,
business.
yeah. Okay,
good.
so I'll be in touch for a number of reasons.
Okay.
Tabitha. All right, okay, so we have a motion on the floor. I guess now we got to vote for it. All in favor of awarding the beautification award to the barn in Groton, signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, so I will get that, I'll consult with Tabitha and we'll get it printed up and get it to Missy and get it framed, but we have to get some good publicity about giving it to them. That's what we have to do.
Pictures when we give it to them.
Yeah.
Take some pictures of the front of the building also.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So thank you, Missy. We're moving forward. That's excellent. All right. And then next meeting is May 9th, 2022. This is going to be, we can meet in a room and actually have Zoom again and everything, but I would prefer to meet in person, possibly at different venues so that we can see what needs to be done or what has been done.
Let's meet at par 4. I vote on par 4. Let's do that.
Okay, it's at 5:30. Now, the only problem is some people aren't gonna always be able to do that. Aleen's gonna have a problem, I think. Tabitha, will you be able to meet like that or not?
Yeah, I can meet like that.
Okay. And Bruce, you're gonna be home?
Yes.
Okay, and you would probably be late, Aleen,
Yeah, I'll be late, but
but you can make it?
yeah, I can make it, but a
Okay.
little bit 5:30 would be too tight. So
Yeah. We're gonna talk at the end of the year about possibly changing dates to make it more easier for people who might have a conflict in the future. Okay. All right. So then we're gonna do May 9th, par 4 at 5:30. And so would anybody like to call to adjourn the meeting?
Oh, no, let's keep going. Let's just keep going.
Sarcasm is not what I'm asking for. Was that a motion to adjourn, dear?
Absolutely.
I second that.
Sarcasm. I love it. Okay. And all right, sorry to keep you guys for so long, 6:57. I'm gonna try to pare down my agenda items in the future if I can. All right?
Good night, all. Yes.
All right. Thank you all so much for being with me and being with us and being a part of the committee, and let's get her done.
All right.
right.
Thank you, Cindy.
All right, thank you,
Bye,
Tabitha.
guys.
Take care. Bye.
Good night.